contrary to common belief, Mora O'Neill, poet of the glens of Antrim, was not born there, but half a world away, in the Indian Ocean island of Mauritius. Nor was that her real name. She was Agnes Higginson, known in the family as Nesta. When she was 4, she came back with her parents to the family home at Cushendun, Rockport House. There she grew up and spent her most impressionable years. The house upon the sea sand, as she called it.
When we were little children, we had a queer wee house, away up on the heather by the head of Broblaburn. The hares would see them scooting, and would hear the crowing grouse. And when we'd all be in at night, you'd not get room to turn. The youngest two should put to bed, their faces to the wall, and the lave of us could sit around just anywhere we might. Herself would take the rush dip and light it for us all. And God be thanked, she would say, now we have a light. Then we beat to quit the laughing and pushing on the floor, and think on one who called us to come and be forgiven. Himself would put his pipe down and say the good word more. May the Lamb of God lead us all to the light of heaven. There are wheen of things that used to be and now has had their day. The 9 glens of Antrim can show we many a sight, but not the queer wee house where we lived up Brobla way, nor a child in all the 9 glens that knows the grace for light.
About her youth, we can for the most part only conjecture. Her daughter, Susan, recalls in later years the window of a room where her mother, when a girl, would read and write all the evenings. Certainly the poetry in the very place names of her poems suggests her growing love of the glens. Corrymeela, Ballytorim, Loch Arima. There is no island in Loch Arima, but there is one in Loch Crannog on top of Fairhead. The local story has it that Colonel MacNeil and his coachman were drowned in Loch Arima, Was she indulging in a little poetic license for the sake of that musical first name?
Loch Arima. Loch Arima lies so high among the heather. A little loch, a dark loch. The water's black and deep. Owl herons go a-fishing there, and seagulls all together float round the one green island on the fairy loch asleep. Loch Arima, Loch Arima. Stars come out and stars are hiding. The water whispers on the stones. The flittering moths are free. Once before the morning light, the horsemen will come riding round and round the fairy loch, and no one there to see.
We do know that her sister May was a talented painter, while Nesta herself had literary tastes.
Sure, maybe you've heard the storm thrush whistle and bowl and march before there's a primrose peeping out or a wee red cone on the larch, whistling the sun to come out of the cloud and the wind to come over the sea. But for all he can whistle so clear and loud, he's never the bird for me. Sure, maybe you've seen the song thrush after an April rain slip from in under the dripping leaves, wishful to sing again. And low wi' love when he's near the nest, and loud from the top of the tree. But for all he can flutter the heart in your breast, he's never the bird for me. Sure, maybe you've heard the cushadoo calling his mate in May, when one sweet thought is the whole of his life, and he tells it the one sweet way. But my heart is sore at the cushadoo, filled with his own soft glee. Over and over his me and you, he's never the bird for me. Sure, maybe you've heard the redbreast singing his lone on a thorn, minding himself with the dear days lost, brave with his heart forlorn. The time is in dark November, and no spring hopes has he. Remember, he sings, remember. Aye, dawn's the wee bird for me.
dark and shiny where it floated in the sea. There was no one in the brown boat but only him and me. Him to cut the sea wrack, me to mind the boat, and not a word between us the hours we were afloat. The wet wrack, the sea wrack, the wrack was strong to cut. We laid it on the grey rocks to weather in the sun. And what should call my lad then to sail from Cushendun? With a low moon, a full tide, a swell upon the deep, him to sail the old boat, me to fall asleep. The dry rack, the sea rack, the rack was dead so soon. There a fire low upon the rocks to burn the rack to kelp. There a boat gone down upon the Moil, and sorrow one to help. Him beneath the salt sea, me upon the shore. By sunlight or moonlight, we'll lift the rack no more. The dark rack, the sea rack, the rack may drift ashore.
In the garden of Rockport House, there is still the ruin of Cara Castle, associated with 16th century Shane O'Neill, Shane the Proud. The ruin was a link with that older Irish world which still echoed in the speech and folklore of the glens. Her imagination grew up alongside it. And when later she adopted O'Neill as her pseudonym, it was an apt expression of the feeling this daughter of the big house had developed for the traditions and people of this place she had come to love. The opening poem of the collection, one of her finest, suggests that Glendun, lone Glendun, had a special place in her affections. Here there is first sounded that note of solitude and longing that is echoed in later poems.
Sure, this is Blessed Erin, and this the same glen. The gold is on the whin bush, the water sings again, the fairy thorns in flower. And what ails my heart then? Flower of the May, flower of the May. What about the Maytime, and he far away? Summer loves the green glen, the white bird loves the sea. And the wind must kiss the heather top, and the red bell hides a bee. As the bee is dear to the honey flower, so one is dear to me. Flower of the rose, flower of the rose. A thorn pricked me one day, but nobody knows. The bracken up the braeside is rusted in the air. Three birches lean together, so silver-limbed and fair. Och, golden leaves are flying fast, but the scarlet roan is rare. Bury o' the roan, bury o' the roan. The wind sighs among the trees, but I sigh alone. I knit beside the turf fire, I spin upon the wheel. Winter nights for thinking long, round runs the reel. But he never knew that here for him I'd kneel. Sparkle o' the fire, sparkle o' the fire. Mother Mary, keep my love and send me my desire.
In 1895, at Cushendun Parish Church, Nesta married Walter Scrine of Claverton Manor in Somerset. They went to live in Canada. That was the end of her direct connection with the Glens. After a few years, they returned to Ireland, to County Wexford, where she spent the rest of her life. Did she ever return to the Glens, except in memory? The memories that returned as she prepared her 2 books of the songs of the Glens of Antrim, on which her name and reputation rest. Moira O'Neill's special achievement was to have enshrined in verse, often of considerable subtlety and beauty, the poetic quality of the speech of the Glens folk. She made of it a literary medium to express emotions, feelings of loss and separation, of home, childhood and nature, that are universal and at the same time intensely local to the part of Ireland that inspired her.
Waters the Moyle, I hear you calling clearer for half of the world between. Antrim hills and the wet rain falling, whiles you're nearer than snowtops keen. Dreams of the night and the night wind calling, what is the half of the world between?